These are the 5 best whiskeys of 2024 so far. Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of the Bourbon Hutch. Thanks so much for joining me on this journey through the world of whiskey. So we're more than halfway through the year now, which kind of astounds me. Feels like it's been going fast. I don't know about you, but had me kind of thinking, good time to reflect on what the best releases of the year have been so far. I also just saw Nathan over at the Everyday Drinker. Shout out to him. He did his version of this video, and seeing that made me really reflect on what would go on my own personal list. He broke his down by different categories, which I thought was great. So if you haven't seen that video or checked out his channel, please do that. But I kind of want to just go overall, all-encompassing. What do I think is the best stuff of 2024 so far? So it's a little bit all over the place, different price levels, different proof points, all that stuff. But it should be fun to break it down. So let's dive into the list. The first one on our list actually goes along with that a little bit all over the place theme. That's because it's an honorable mention. You'll see why in a sec. That is James E. Pepper Barrel Proof. So technically, this came out in, I believe, December of 2023, like pretty late December. That's when Breaking Bourbon did their review of it. So yes, it's a 2023 release in terms of when it first hit the market, but given distribution and all that stuff, like I feel like most people actually are gonna see this as a reality in 2024. So while it breaks the rules a little bit, it's so good. I mean, it's peaches, white grape, creaminess, spiciness. Really, really beautiful bottle, presentation-wise, and in terms of the flavor inside. So felt like it needed to be highlighted, even though maybe technically it was a 2023 release. Okay. The next bottle on the list follows soon after and just makes the cut, and that is Barrel New Year. So Barrel every year releases like a kind of crazy blend of a bunch of different stuff for their New Year release. This is the 2024 version. Barrel actually sent me this bottle, very generous of them, and it's so good. There's really good aged stuff in here, up to 15 years old. And then as low as 5 years old, but a blend of 11-year-old, 9-year-old. It's just, they're so good at blending. They do it pretty much better than anybody else I've encountered on the market. And it is a phenomenal whiskey with total craziness in terms of complexity. Like, it's amazing how the depth of the blending and the variety really does come through in this particular whiskey. All right. So the next bottle on the list is a bourbon that the more I sip on it, the more I seem to love it. And that is New Riff 8-year-old bourbon. Seriously, this stuff is phenomenal. Oak and spice are kind of the backbone, but then you also get so much nice like black, rich cherry and good vanilla. It's creamy. It's really showing off what craft distilleries can do when they reach a well-aged product. New Riff has kept everything in-house. They are still independent, and their whiskey is really, really good. And this is probably the most impressive thing I've had from them, just in terms of balance and well-roundedness. And I'm honestly starting to think it might earn a place in my whiskey of the year bracket. Even though it's a more standard release for like 65 bucks, I think it might deserve that spot. And we'll see how it does. All right, next bottle on the list is one that I'm new to, but as soon as I sipped on it, my eyes kind of opened up and I was like, whoa, that is really, really good stuff. That is Green River Full Proof. I don't know what Green River's doing, but they should keep doing it. This stuff is really, really good. You can tell I've made a huge dent. I actually brought this on vacation with me, and so glad I did, because I enjoyed sipping on it every second while I was trying to relax and get away. So full of vanilla, brown sugar, and a chocolate kind of base to it. Good spiciness. It is available, I think, for around 50 bucks. All their stuff seems to be relatively affordable and available, and that is just, you know, music to my ears. And this stuff is phenomenal. I don't believe I've reviewed this yet, but definitely a review coming soon because it deserves it 100%. All right, the last 2 bottles on our list do get us into more limited territory, but they're both absolutely worth highlighting. The first is Old Forester 117 Series High Angel Share Batch 3. Definitely a mouthful to say. It's also a mouthful when you sip on it. It is so powerful. It's 110 proof, probably the most cherry I've ever tasted on a bourbon, which is a pretty standard note, but this is just turning it up to the max. It does come in the smaller 375. I got this for $70. I believe MSRP is 60, so it is on the more expensive side. But man, that cherry note, vanilla, almost like a cherry pie with vanilla icing or vanilla ice cream. Oh, it's really, really good and punches you in the face. Speaking of punching you in the face, the next whiskey 100% does that. Breaking the rules a little bit again, you'll see why, but this one is so good. And that is Little Book, Chapter 8. It's The Path Not Taken. So this is primarily a rye blend, but it has like 18-year-old bourbon in it, I think, too, just a tiny bit of it. It's so good. It's really powerful rye whiskey with a ton of backbone and good layered depth to it. The MSRP here is $150. It is more limited. I believe I paid $170, so a little bit over MSRP, but it feels like it was worth it to me. It's definitely one of the best releases of 2024, and it's good to see. I didn't get the Chapter 7, but it got really good reviews, and this one's getting really good reviews. It's good to see Little Book kind of hit a stride where people feel like it's worth the specialness that surrounds it, and maybe even the price point if you're willing to go that high. All right, everybody, that's my list. These are the 5, though I had to add the James E. Pepper, so really 6 best releases of 2024 that I've personally been able to get my hands on. So that is a big caveat. I haven't tasted nearly everything that's come out. There's so much I've missed out on, but I'm really happy that I have these 5 and James E. Pepper as well. Just really happy I have these because they are so flavorful and so good. And hopefully you're able to grab 1 or 2 of these, add them to your shelves as well, and sip on them and enjoy them. Would love to hear in the comments below, what have been your favorite releases of the year so far? Did I leave anything off the list that you think deserves a spot? While you're at it, hit the like button on this video. That's what gets it out to the most people. And then if you haven't already, please consider subscribing to the channel for the rest of 2024 and beyond. Till I see you guys again for another video, all I can say is keep drinking good whiskey and cheers.